The American Dream, the only show that combats negative media, not owned by a network, commercial-free, unscripted. We got a great show for you today coming from New York City, the media capital of the world. Let's get the American Dream started right now.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about this show? It's totally unscripted.
Here we are, Times Square, the city never sleeps.
Yeah.
So I actually started in New York City when I was 21 years old. I had an internship right down the street at MTV when I used to actually play music.
Yeah.
I got dropped here, a guy from the Midwest, knew nobody, but got to know the city, fell in love with this city, and 9/11 happened, ended up back in the Midwest, was finishing school. Well, ended up being a college dropout, tripped and stumbled into this real estate game.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I ended up in Southern California, so it's so funny to come full circle to launching the American Dream, a national TV show now in 23 cities in New York City, and how it's all come full circle.
I love it because not only do I get to know more stories, we get to amplify them over 23 cities. Now, of course, New York City.
Well, it's the family,
Yep.
it's the home, and then it's the location and the lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
it all kind of comes together. And one of the things we're trying to do with this show is highlight these different communities all across the country. You recently brought us Ben Bacal.
Yeah.
And when we talk about things like the American Dream, there's nothing wrong with dreaming big.
Yes.
A $250 million listing.
The biggest.
Yeah.
The biggest.
So here's what we did. Took a helicopter ride,
Yep.
$250 million listing on the West Coast. Let's go check it out. Dream and I have been invited by San Diego's premier luxury realtor, a friend of our show, the Seth O'Byrne. And we're giving LA's leader in luxury real estate, Ben Bacal, a helicopter tour of what San Diego has to offer in the luxury real estate market from the sky. Buckle up.
I've been traveling the entire country, launching the American Dream all across the United States, and in each market we isolate the elite realtors in every market. Today we did something fun. We brought Ben Bacal, who is the #1 agent for luxury up in LA.
So glad to be here.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. It has a $250 million listing right now, amongst many other. A great portfolio. And we got Seth O'Byrne, who you see on the show all the time, who is our expert out of San Diego. Of course, on his phone. But we're just touring America's finest city, maybe having a little in-air debate about LA and San Diego from two of the best nationwide. When you approach a luxury home and you're taking it to market, what are some of the strategies that help move that house?
I spend anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month on those luxury listings because everyone's on their phone.
Yep.
I want those listings, viral on your phone. So that's what I implement. And of course, for the super high-end properties, we'll have a PR company come in and strategize and build stories around the property and try to get free editorials as much as we can.
Is there, obviously there's a lot of thought that goes into it, but it's not for sure what that property is going to sell for when you list it for 20, 30, 40 million, right? I mean, there's some guesswork there.
No, when you're in that 20 to 30 million dollar mark, you know that they're going to sell for pretty close to that. It's when you're pushing in that 40 to 250 stratosphere.
Yeah.
Then it's a bit different game, but. The price per square foot has been, we're really price per square foot driven in Los Angeles. We're lucky because we have the comps to back it up. So you can say like a house down the street sold for $3,000 a foot or $2,500 a foot. Museum quality stuff is selling for about $2,500 a foot.
Share with me a story, an example of something you've moved recently.
Recently we did a house for $48 million, and it's a New York buyer that came out and bought it. And then we have a lot of buyers from the UK that are venture capital, private equity. A lot of Chinese are buying, and then mostly it's domestic because the United Emirates dollar is pegged to the US dollar, and this the British thing. Everything's in flux. So right now it's really domestic, but I do advertise in like Camju and luxuryrealestate.com and Prestige MLS, and I put it in Mandarin. The listings I'll translate them, and also on YouTube I'll translate them. But essentially they're coming out here and they're hiring me, looking for their home of their dreams, and like the big listings spending like $10,000 a month, pushing them so they're where their screens your house is going to be, right?
Yeah, so really, even though in some ways, obviously, luxury real estate has been known for being cutthroat, kind of to the opposite, you have to be collaborative with the other partners out there, right?
Yeah, you really have to, exactly. You got to be collaborative with your fellow associates, and you got to maintain that relationship. Getting exclusive listings, they're great, but often they trade hands really quickly. You get a 6-month listing, and it doesn't trade, and then you pass it off to the next guy, and then boom, it could sell, which is okay. It's just the name of the game, right?
Ben, you got any final remarks about San Diego?
Well, from the air, I really got a really terrific perspective. Thank you, Seth, for showing me all the different areas. They're beautiful. Those hillside, those cliffside properties were extraordinary. I couldn't believe what I saw. And the value that you get for beachfront property is exceptional. I'm looking to maybe buy something one day. That'd be cool.
Hope you enjoyed, and cheers to your American dream.
People come here to succeed, and if you don't succeed here, you don't stay. So owning a media company in Southern California to spread across the country, doing it city by city, and then New York City becoming our 23rd, it's the place where you're bringing the best of the best. In the media capital of the world, owning a media company, this is where you want to get to. Look at me now. I mean, it's just one of those things now where we have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
We've pulled major partners, sponsors, and got this momentum where we're here to launch.
Welcome back to The American Dream. My next guest is Darin Walker. He is a realtor and luxury specialist and the #1 West Austin agent for Cooper Sotheby's International Realty. Darin, thank you so much for being on the show. Great to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
So Darin, you're really the perfect person to talk to. Today we're talking about building codes and city ordinances, and you now are serving your 3rd term on the Westlake Hills City Council. So congratulations on that, first and foremost.
Thank you.
So why are city ordinances and building codes so important to buyers who want to buy a lot or build a new home or even potentially remodel an existing home?
Right. Well, there's widespread redevelopment happening all over the city of Austin. A lot of as I've mentioned in previous segments, a lot of these are buyers that are moving in from out of state. They're moving in from all over the country. And they're buying lots to build on. They're buying tear down homes, and they're also buying homes to remodel. A lot of people that they end up buying a property, they spend $1 million. Later they hire an architect, and then they discover that they're not actually able to build what they want because of city ordinances and restrictions that limit how much of the land that they're able to use. And so it's real important that people know what those ordinances and restrictions are ahead of time before making that big investment.
So what exactly are city ordinances then, and how do they play a role in impacting residential real estate?
Well, city ordinances are simply laws that are passed by a city that have building codes. They limit how much of the property that you're able to develop, how high you can build, what areas you can build on. And it also may require that a property owner has to install drainage improvements to protect the other property owners. So to a large extent, the codes and ordinances serve to preserve the neighborhood aesthetics and ensure that whatever is built is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. And those codes also do protect the surrounding property owners.
What are some of the most important city ordinances for a buyer that's looking to purchase a lot or potentially tear down a home or remodel an existing one even?
So the first is really setbacks. Setbacks limit the area on a lot that you're able to build. And in the city of Westlake Hills, the setbacks are 50 feet off the front, 30 feet off the rear, 20 feet off the sides. And these are for lots that are over a half acre or larger. And so that really defines the buildable area. The second biggest one is impervious cover. And impervious cover really determines how much of a property that you're able to cover within that buildable area, that envelope. So impervious cover really refers to concrete or asphalt. And so in the city of Westlake Hills, you're limited to covering up to 25% of a property. Then there's height restriction. Height restriction is simply just how high you can build. In the city of Westlake, it's a limit of 30 feet from grade. And that really serves to keep homes tucked into hillsides, prevent them from protruding out, and so that the homes blend in with the environment. Wastewater is another big issue. In most of the city of Westlake Hills, homes sit on septic systems. And so codes are designed so that the septic system, it determines where a septic system can be placed on the property. In the city, you cannot put septic systems on slopes that are greater than 30% grade or inside the setbacks. So those are some of the bigger codes that people deal with when they come in to the city of Westlake Hills to build. And important for people to understand those ordinances because they also exist all throughout other municipalities as well.
Of course. Great information, really valuable content, Darin. Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Great, thanks for having me.
And please stick around because we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
The show's called The American Dream, right? There's only one city in the country that has an Ellis Island. This is a place where people have come for hundreds and hundreds of years to stake out their claim in what is the American Dream. And so having a show called The American Dream, launching in a place known to found the American Dream is a huge deal.
What I love most about San Diego is the pace. People move here because they know that life is short. You gotta live it in a place that recognizes that. I would always joke I can go from business suit to wetsuit in 15 minutes on a Friday afternoon. I think I've got it beat. I've got it down to about 12 minutes now. That's what living in San Diego is about. Today I'm going to take you guys to a property that we just put on the market in Sapphire Tower. This condo is probably one of the best properties, one of the best views in all of San Diego. On the way, we're going to pick something up special for the sellers. We're going to go to Donut Bar. Actually, it's here right now. Let's get some donuts. Could I get some creme brulee and then a Boston cream and a chocolate euphoria? I was going to have a beer, but I think it's too early.
It's not too early, sir. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Thanks. When you're in downtown San Diego, you might walk right by it and think it's nothing, but the Donut Bar has been on USA Today, it's been on the Thrillist, it's been on TripAdvisor. This is probably one of the hottest donut bars in America, and we got it in our backyard. This penthouse listing is actually really personal to me because not only do we have a listing on one of the most expensive penthouses downtown San Diego, I was working on this project when I was 19 years old as an intern for the builder. So to come around 16 years later and have a listing of this caliber is something that really means a lot to us. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3,000 square feet, but you're not just buying it because of the stats, you're buying it because of the materials, you're buying it because of the Sub-Zero commercial wine fridge, the Miele, the Wolf. All these materials are absolute top of the line, and for an affluent penthouse buyer, they're the units, materials that you would really want. The reason I would buy this property is this room right here. One of my favorite rooms in the penthouse is the master bedroom. It's got floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall windows. It overlooks over $2 trillion in downtown penthouse living. You can see out of this window to Mexico. You can see Coronado Islands in the San Diego Bay. I like to joke that this is a 50 Shades of Grey style penthouse. And I like to think that Christian Grey himself would love this one feature that he has right here. And this is a hidden staircase, in case you have guests that need to leave in a hurry. You know, the reality is for $3 million, you could buy a lot of house, right? But you can't replicate this view. You know, that beach across the street, that's a white sand beach I surfed out this morning. For a local San Diegan, you know you're looking at basically the best of our city all in one shot. So as great as the inside of this property is, you realize that it takes all of it to make it one of the best properties in San Diego.
All right, and cut. Good job, guys.
We're done?
We're done.
You want a donut?
Yes.
Everybody has decided, they've made that conscious decision that they choose positivity, that they still believe America is a staircase, and that there's a possibility for everybody to go up. People rejecting negativity and choosing positivity. People deciding that they want to do more with their businesses, more with their time, more with their families, and take part in this incredible economic opportunity we have to be in this country. And so what's so cool is everyone's story is completely different, and this company is thriving as a business, at the same time creating a tremendous amount of social good.
Welcome back to the show. My next guest is Holly Dees. She is the broker owner of HD Realty Team, and she's brought along a special guest with her, Suzanne Covert, headshot photographer and owner of Suzanne Covert Photography. Ladies, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. So Holly, I know that you have discovered Suzanne, that you absolutely love her. You even say that you won't let anyone else take a professional photo of you, but how did you two first meet?
Well, we have daughters the same age, so I think it was probably PTA stuff or somewhere down the line. She's one of my fabulous neighbors that lives in that awesome neighborhood I keep telling everyone about in Steiner Ranch in West Austin. So, you know, she used to, and sometimes will shoot a few homes for me as well. But I just realized her talent right off the bat, and she's just done a new round of headshots for me and my girls, and she's amazing. I'm lucky to have her.
Well, Suzanne, thank you so much for being on the show, and it's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So Holly mentioned that every now and then you might cheat a little and take some photographs of some homes for her, but you've really focused your business on headshots. Why headshots?
You know, I started out taking all different kinds of photography, but I started to get interested in headshots when I noticed that everybody needs a headshot. Having a well-lit headshot was, I thought, really important, because that was one of the things when I was looking for a doctor when I moved to Austin. I was kind of going through, this is before I was a headshot photographer, going through and looking at their headshots, and I'm thinking, oh, that person doesn't look professional. It's not, you know, it wasn't a great headshot. So I wanted to focus my business on that and give them something that they could present to their clients.
Sure, it's really their calling card, right? And it's that first impression.
Right.
So
absolutely.
What makes a great headshot? You mentioned lighting. What else?
Having a prep and knowing what to expect when you come into the session really puts people at ease. So that's really important for me. And I shoot on either tethering to a computer if I'm in an office, or tethering to a monitor, a 42-inch monitor in my home studio, to where they can get a sense of what the picture's looking like, and, you know, do we need to change the angle or flip their hair or whatever. But I found that having those things in place really helps create a more confident and approachable headshot.
Sure, absolutely. You decide right there on the spot. You get a sense of what the shoot is looking at, and then you can adjust from there. I love that. And you're somewhat collaborative. You're showing your clients a little bit of what it's looking like before you do the final touches, which I think is fantastic. Now, we know that having a good headshot, as we've just heard, is really important. But what are some of the other ways that you help clients really promote their businesses through your photography?
So a lot of clients come to me primarily, you know, for the headshot, but then a lot of times they want, you know, maybe marketing photos to put on brochures or things that they're going to hand out to clients. Also, you know, shooting for companies and having pictures that they can put, you know, sayings on and posting them on Instagram. I mean, Instagram is so important now, and it's used especially by the younger generation. So having photos that they can throw on social media is helpful for them, and really helps promote their business to their clients.
Well, Holly, we've been talking this whole time about photography, but you actually have a listing that I don't even think photos will do it justice, the view on this property. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope to be coming to you guys in the next couple of months with information on phase 2 of Lakeside at the Park, located in Lakeway, Texas, right off Mansfield Dam Road, with amazing views of Lake Travis. We have only one condo left. It's a 2-bedroom. And not only is the rooftop patio and the private elevator, private hot tub, everyone always asks me, are you sure? I'm like, no, that's standard. You're not gonna have to share that private rooftop patio with anyone. Everyone gets that. So they have been a pretty hot commodity in our area. But aside from those amenities, you know, there's Hawaiian birchwood floors, there's Bosch stainless appliances, there's quartz in the bathrooms and the kitchens. They're super energy efficient with, you know, pull out tilt windows that come down that are double hung. I mean, the builder spared no expense. I'm thrilled that we're selling our last one, but I'm super excited about phase 2. 1687 is the square footage on this last one, and it is priced at $379.
Well, I can certainly see why they've gone so fast. Ladies, thank you so much for your time and for being on the American Dream today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen.
And we'll be right back with more of the show.
I'm Autumn Lapaglia, owner and broker of Legacy Austin Realty. Right now is a really exciting time in the Central Texas real estate market. We're in a rare window where it's actually a great time to sell and a good time to buy. Inventory is low, so a home that looks great and is priced right shouldn't sit on the market very long. At the same time, the market is softening a little bit, and interest rates are still at historic lows. So a buyer with an open mind and a great plan in place can find plenty of opportunities, especially if you're willing to go just outside of town, and Round Rock is a great example. The most common phone call that I get as a realtor in this market are clients asking me to help them move up from their current home to a new home. Homeowners are sitting on equity and they're able to see the potential for taking that next step up. If you're thinking about moving up to a new home, these 3 steps will help make the process as smooth as possible. Number 1, be prepared. The homes that are selling in this market and selling quickly are clean, updated, and staged well. When these clients called me, they had fallen in love unexpectedly with a home. We were able to negotiate a contingent contract, but that meant that we had to get their home ready, on the market, and sold in less than a week if they were going to have a chance at buying their dream home. Fortunately, their house was updated nicely, decorated on trend, and I was able to give them a short list of a few things to take care of. We got the photographer out there to take pictures, we got it up on MLS, and in the first weekend on the market, had multiple offers over asking price and were able to move forward with their next transaction. If their home had not been so well decorated, so ready to go, it might not have sold so quickly. So if you're thinking that you might move up at some point, make sure that you take care of your home little by little and have it ready when the time is right. Number 2, have a great team of professionals behind you and trust them to do their jobs. A move-up transaction has so many moving parts that have to work together so perfectly for everything to work. You have 2 realtors, 2 buyers, 2 sellers, 2 lenders, 2 title companies, all collaborating to make sure that we get to closing day for both transactions. Make sure that you are working with good realtors, good title people, and good lenders so that your transaction is taken care of and there's as little room for error as possible. When we get to closing day, we don't want any surprises and we want to make sure that it's as seamless as it can be. Number 3, be open-minded. Have a plan B, C, and D in place, just in case. With so many moving parts going on in a transaction like this, it's important to have an open mind and be prepared to adjust your plan as things happen. Even these clients, as smooth as everything went, had a few hurdles and surprises that we had to work around. When they first fell in love with this home, it already had a buyer on it. But I encouraged them to go look at it anyway, submit a backup offer, and 7 days later, we got a phone call from the other agent saying that the original buyers fell through and my clients had the chance to move forward with it. Also, when we listed their home to sell, because we needed to do it so quickly, we actually strategically priced a little bit below market value. This created a multiple offer situation where we were able to obtain a few backup offers, waiting in the wings in case something happened with our original buyers. Pulling off a transaction like this takes a lot of planning, patience, and strategy. But with the right tools and the right team, we can make it happen. I'm so excited that my clients get to start the next chapter of their lives in this incredible farmhouse property. It was just 3 years ago that they called me the first time to help them sell their very first starter home and move up to the golf course house. Then we were able to use that home as a stepping stool to get here today. I'm so grateful every time somebody trusts me to walk them through this very exciting, very important process. It's my favorite thing about my job, and I love helping people use their real estate to get to where they want to go. Now, back to you in the studio.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. The American Dream now spans coast to coast, all across the country and everywhere in between. The whole idea to empower the mindset of the American Dream. Did it from New York City today. This is actually the place I started in media, working for MTV, living in Chinatown. I'll never forget my first day in Union Square, which is where this $18 million pad is. Met my roommate, and he said, hey man, let me show you around New York City. Show you what this town has to offer. So we walked up here to Union Square, and I'll never forget, he sat down and he said, sewing. Grab yourself a piece of real estate. This is a great place to take a nap. Put his arms behind his head, laid back down. So my first day, almost 20 years ago in New York City, I took a nap in the street. So to be back here, launching the show, spreading positive information, and empowering the mindset of the American Dream, quite the honor. Thanks so much for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it from New York City and all the areas we covered. That's all for today. Hope you can follow us on social media. I'm gonna go take a nap.